Hey friends, welcome back. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Law Creations. I hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. So I just wanted to share with you my newest work in progress. It's for a 118 scale, 118 scale figures, and it's on the small side, but I just practicing some techniques and just some different weathering techniques, some different building techniques, and different for me, that is. I find in diorama making, my most difficult process is the construction. I I really enjoy the weathering. I enjoy the final details and things like that. But for me, I really have a difficult time getting started, coming up with an idea, coming up with a plan. And that takes me the longest time, doing my cuts and making sure they fit. So this particular piece is no different. I got some inspiration off of Google in regards to this specific room in regards to a diorama. They had a picture of a creepy old attic, and with it being October and Halloween coming up, and I wanted to do something along the lines of a creepy environment but my main goal was realism, to really try different techniques for realism. Now I made this little chair. It stands out of place because you know the back wall's weathered, and we'll get to that in a minute. But this needs to be aged. It needs to be weathered. It's just cut out of basswood, and I just threw it together. And you know what? It was more difficult than what you think. It just I had to use super glue because I wanted the instant setup. I hate working with super glue. I get it on my fingers. I make a mess. It gets on my mat, and it's just a messy thing. So yeah, so I ended up using a little bit of super glue, and my go-to glue lately has been this specific glue from the dollar store. I don't know if you just take a look above here and look at all the glue I have. I kind of wiped them out at the dollar store because this glue is super glue, but it's wood glue, so it's the texture of like PVA glue, and it's obviously it's great for wood, and it also works great on foam. I haven't tried it on metal yet, but it's fantastic on foam, and that has been my go-to glue lately. And it dries fairly quick. For a full cure, it says 24 hours, but if you just hold it together for a couple minutes, and it already adheres and begins to bond. So this has been my go-to glue, and I get a lot of my stuff at the dollar store. I picked up this mat. They had a little tiny mat at the dollar store. I picked that up, and I've been using that for my woodcuts. I built my mirror. If you see the mirror back here, I built that, and I built my chair on this particular mat. I know I could do it on the bigger mat, but I enjoy the smaller size, the smaller uh, measurements and things like that. So I picked that up at the dollar store. And I just could go on and on and on about what I buy at the dollar store for my craft, for my dioramas. So yeah, let's take a look. So this guy needs to be weathered. I got to finish painting down below there. Uh, the mirror is just on a little bit of sticky stuff. It's not as antiqued or as aged as I would like it. I'll still work on it, but I wanted to add a little bit more designs to it, but I just went ahead and gave it a standard a standard look. So this particular mirror piece was I have a bunch of it lying around, but I picked it up at the dollar store. Once again, it was a phone casing, and all this part was mirrored. So I picked that up, and I just broke it down. I cut it to shape, and that's what I went ahead and used for the mirror. So that worked out pretty good. And yeah, so I got a whole bunch of more stuff. With this particular piece, everything I want to handcraft. I did the chair, I did the mirror. I want to handcraft some lighting, some lamps. I've been working on this for about a week now. I'm very deliberate when I work. It takes me forever to complete something. I take my time. Sometimes I sit back and I just look at the piece and I just create off of off of what I feel looks right, and that's what I go ahead and do. So with this particular piece, if you can see the back wall here, now a problem that I run into, and it's a problem for me and I have to correct, because I'll tell you why. I should build and not add any paint or any weathering. I should just build it raw, complete it, then go back and weather it. Because this particular wall, I really don't remember how I weathered it. And when it comes time to duplicate it on this wall that is clean, I'm going to have a difficult time matching the color scheme. So I really need to, I just have to build and construct and then weather. I get so impatient and I get excited to get to the painting part and the weathering part that, when I built this wall, this particular wall, I just wanted to jump right in and get an idea of how it would look weathered. And this particular window I built from scratch. I built it on my little dollar store mat, and I weathered it. I weathered it quite a bit, and I just tried different techniques, different things that I thought would work. So I gave it a nice chipping effect. And it's just different techniques that I haven't used. And I like to do these techniques on a small scale in case they don't come out good and I don't ruin a lot of material. So when I do build larger, I already have my techniques down. And a lot of diorama making is like, as an artist, is like sketching. You sketch, you draw, and you refine your skills. And it's the same way with diorama making. You don't just build a masterpiece without sketching and without trial and error. And that's what I'm starting to learn about the few years that I've been doing diorama making, is I want to improve. I want to improve as an artist. And so I have to take my time and construct and build, and I just can't bang out a diorama a week. It just, between work and family and things like that, my hobby time's limited. So when I do get down here, I don't want to rush. I want to sketch, per se. I want to refine my skills. I want to try different techniques. I want to try different products. But I try things on the cheap side. All this paint is craft paint. And for the white on here, on all this, was spray paint. I just masked all this off and spray painted, and I painted up the windows with a white acrylic, and then I took a cotton swab and I just wiped away and took a cloth and cleaned away like the middle and tried to leave like the little accents, dirty accents in the corners where your windows would get dirty and built up. So that's what I went ahead and did there. I picked up a whole bunch of filters to go back here. So they're film filters, so they're different colors. I'll add it to the back of this and add some lighting. And a lot of this piece is going to be done later, and it's going to have an effect of like mood and lighting and things like that. So you're just looking at a raw piece right now. So, and the flooring I was so happy with. It really came out above and beyond what I expected. To be honest with you, if I repeated the process, I probably don't really remember how I did it. I just tried different things, and And the end result came out like this, and it looks like a dirty floor, old aged floor with spilled paint on it and weathered, and it exceeded my expectations just by trial and error. I mean, I can remember 90% about how I did it, but yeah, let's just, if you want to just take a closer look at it, I added some grooves in the wood and just weathered it, and especially down here at the corners there, the bottom, I started aging it. That was a real tiresome and real let's see, time consuming to get that particular look. And as you can see, as I went along, I kind of got away from it. But I really like the effect of it. So you can't be lazy in diorama making. If something looks good and you really like it and it's tedious and it's time consuming, your best bet is to continue and do it. Just put some music on, put a podcast on, put a movie on, and just chip away and cut away, and you just achieve a much more realistic look. Yeah, so that's just this particular flooring, and like I say, I went ahead, I created it, I laid every piece individually with just basswood, and carved it up and painted it, and just tried different techniques with it, and I was really happy with it. I'll give you a closer look at the window upside down just to give you the idea of the weathering that's on it. So came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. This particular piece here, I'm probably going to remove and just put like a molding, a wood molding, and things like that. So that's that piece there, and like I say, here's the clean piece, unweathered. So my challenge is going to be matching this weathering back here to this panel. I'm in the process of working on a vent or another small window for right here. This will get all weathered. The wood will get weathered and chipped. I have I have a darn it, I can't get it in focus. Or I have a roof I'm going to put on, so it's going to be completely encapsulated. It'll be completely filled in, and then you're going to look right into the room, and you'll have a whole bunch of different accessories, and it'll be very atmospheric, and that's what I'm aiming for. I'm creating it for me. It'll go into my IKEA display shelf. I just bought some LED lighting for my displays, and I've sold quite a few dioramas in the past, but I've come to the determination because of the fact that I sold some dioramas that I really liked, and a weeks later I end up regretting that I sold them for a few dollars, and it just really bummed me out, because I know the amount of work that goes into diorama making. I know the amount of work that I've put into this piece, into my last piece, and if you sell it on eBay, a lot of people just want to throw you chump change, and most of the time I sell it way undervalued because I just want to get my work out there, and I don't want to be money hungry, and I know I'm not going to get rich off of this, but I do want to be compensated for the amount of time and the amount of, you want to be compensated because you're an artist, and unfortunately a lot of times what you get for a piece shows the quality of an artist you are. It's like that with anything. The better your displays, the more money you're going to get for them. And so I don't do commissions. I mean, if somebody reached out to me and wanted a commission, I'd probably do one for them. Take my time, and well, that's the thing why I don't want to do a lot of commissions, is because it would take me forever to do it, and it would just take me a long time to complete it, and I wouldn't want anybody getting upset at me over a diorama. because it takes me so long. And, I just would be honest with them up front that it would take a little bit of time. But that's not what I'm in this hobby for, to make money by any means. I do it for my own mental health. I do it for my own creativity. I do it to have my imagination come to life. That's why I do this hobby. And it's a healthy outlet. It just keeps me home. It keeps me out of trouble. It keeps me here where I belong, and being productive and creative and sharing my work with a wonderful community like you folks, and Instagram, and Facebook, and like my last video, don't create for those different platforms, but create for you. Like I mentioned, don't create for likes and the opinions of others, but create for yourself. And if you're happy with it, keep going forward, And if you're not happy with it, start sketching and improve your techniques. So that's my video for today. Enough ranting and raving, and I'll do a tutorial about how I made this window, about how I weathered it, and the different techniques that I used to try to achieve this particular look. I could do it on the floor as well if you folks wanted a tutorial on it. I know a lot of people that build dioramas don't go to the extreme of realism like this, because it is a lot of time and it is a lot of effort. And to be honest with you, when they carve up a floor out of just foam and weather it, it looks great. So it's definitely acceptable how others techniques are. But for me, I kind of went to the extreme just to capture realism. And a lot of people like to pump out work fast, so this, in that case, wouldn't really work for those particular people. But when you create for yourself and you just want to create realism, and you just want to take your time, then yeah, this is for you for sure. So yeah, wish me luck weathering this piece to look like this piece. And if you get anything out of this video, when you make your diorama, construct it all, get everything built and fitted, and then when everything's built and fitted, weather and paint everything in one shot, because to get this to match will be a little difficult, but I'll be able to do it. The only reason why I know I will, because I've done this before. I'm a creature of habit. So thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for liking. Thank you for disliking if you dislike it. Thank you for subscribing, comment, interact. It's always good to hear from everybody. Take care, people, and I wish everybody good health and prosperity, and be well, folks, okay? Take care.